I have a bunch of mouthpieces here. I want to try them out. Let me know which one you like the best, and I'll let you know in the comments as well. I have this mouthpiece here from JodyJazz. This is a JodyJazz DV Alto number 7. Now take a look here. You can see right there, it has a unique type of opening here on the facing. So it's like a combination of a short and a long facing. On the edges there, it's a lot shorter. It opens right up in the middle. The baffle is pretty steep. It's also curved in a U in that kind of direction. You might be able to see that the chamber is pretty open in there, and then some of the space is taken up by the baffle, causing a bit of a squeeze. Also from JodyJazz, this one is the HR8M. This mouthpiece is a little bit harder to control with intonation, but it gives me so much flexibility over my sound when I'm playing it. I can play quiet, soft, I can play loud. There's just a ton I can do with it. Low notes also come out extremely easy on this mouthpiece. So far, I'm noticing that the JodyJazz mouthpieces are really easy to play and also really easy to control. This is a Beechler Bellite Custom 8. So this is called a custom mouthpiece, but it's really just off the shelf. When you're dealing with Beechler, a lot of the mouthpieces are unique, even though they are stock mouthpieces coming off of the shelf. If you buy one that's like a Beechler Bellite Custom 8 like this one, and you put another one beside it, they're not going to play the same usually. It's usually a good idea to try out a few of them if you're going to buy a Beechler. See which one you actually like the best. The baffle is fairly high, but it's also smooth. So it's not a step baffle, it rolls over. I tend to like metal mouthpieces because they have some weight to them, and that helps control the vibration. That's just what I'm feeling when I'm playing. Not sure if it's a real thing or not, but it just seems like it makes it sound better, makes it feel better, at least when I'm playing. So far, that mouthpiece was the hardest to play, the Beechler Bellite Custom 8. Sometimes I'll play a 1.5 reed on that. So far, I've been playing a Van Doren Java Red reed with all of these mouthpieces. Also from Beechler, this is an M5S. The S is for short facing, just means that this is a little bit shorter, this area here, than it would be if it was long facing. The M stands for medium chamber, so it means there's a moderate amount of space in there. Should be the most versatile option. Combines the best of a small chamber and a large chamber. Believe it or not, a 2.5 Rico reed feels like a little too much for this mouthpiece. I can play it, but the resistance is a bit too much for me. Yeah, we're going to switch to a number 2 Java Red reed on a 5 mouthpiece. Not sure why, but it just works well with this one for me. When I'm playing a soft reed with a 5 mouthpiece like I just did, I find that it's better to focus my embouchure lower on the reed, where the thicker part of the reed is. That way you can get more pressure onto the reed, you have more stability. I find that the reed doesn't squeak as much when I'm doing that. You're still going to get a much more focused sound than if you were playing on an 8 mouthpiece, but that's how you can play a soft reed on a closed tip opening. Now when I got this mouthpiece, I thought because it was a number 5, it would be easier to play and that I'd be able to play like a number 3.5 or a 4 reed on it with ease. I'm still playing a number 2 reed when I'm playing this mouthpiece. Sometimes it's hard to know what reed you're going to have to play with a mouthpiece, so it's best to just try them out. And again on this one, the baffle rolls over, although it is fairly high. This is the Beechler Diamond M5S. That diamond is covered up there by my mouthpiece patch. Here's an Autolink Super Tone Master. This is a 7-star. It's one of my more open mouthpieces. It's like the 8 from JodyJazz. This mouthpiece gives a really warm sound, really smooth. Not the easiest mouthpiece to play loudly or to push, but it always has a great sound. Right away I noticed when doing that this mouthpiece feels a little more restrictive, especially on the higher notes. It's nice to play mellow. Those subtones come out really nicely as well. That's the difference I'm noticing with this mouthpiece. Then I have two mouthpieces here from Sios. The orange one I think is a little bit warmer. Yellow one's a little more focused. You'll hear the difference when you're listening though. These mouthpieces are meant to be similar to the JodyJazz HR8, that hard rubber mouthpiece I showed you earlier. I find that they give a little bit more grit though. That might have to do with the 3D printed material that it's made out of. And this is a Long & McQuade brand mouthpiece. So that's my local music store, Long & McQuade. So it's a generic store brand mouthpiece, and it's modeled after the Selmer C-Star. So a mouthpiece like this would give you a little more of a restricted time playing. You might want to put a stronger reed on it than most. You might not be able to really push it that much. You'll have a really focused sound when you're playing. So I found that last mouthpiece really restrictive. Couldn't really play loud with it. I felt like it was easy to keep in tune. That's a good thing. I'm finding though that C-Star tip opening is causing it to be difficult to play with some versatility. So some things that stood out to me, the DV Alto was really easy to play. That one felt really good. Also the Sios mouthpieces, those were easy to play as well. I like the grit that they had. I wish they had a little more heft to them like you get with the metal mouthpieces, but they sounded really good. I generally found myself happier with the wider tip opening mouthpieces. I felt like it was easier to play them and that I had more room to move when I was playing. I could play with dynamics more easily. Another thing I noticed was that the JodyJazz HR8 is pretty hard to keep in tune compared to something like the Beachler Diamond M5S. It's also harder to keep in tune than the DV Alto. And if you're looking for a new mouthpiece anytime soon, I made a video that should help you with that decision. You can click on it right over there.